All right, time now for one of those conversations that we have on this program that's meant to enlighten you, open your eyes. Some people it may tick off. Other people will go, okay, you know, all right. So let's talk about opening the closet door on gays on Capitol Hill and other politicians.
This town is full of gay people.
I remember when I first moved here, thinking how gay it was.
Sometimes I think Washington's more gay than San Francisco is.
Okay. That's just a very tiny bit of it. This movie is called Outrage. It is spotlighting, in some cases, outing politicians who have a hand in crafting legislation that is perceived as anti-gay. Last week in New York, I spoke with Outrage director Kirby Dick. Take a listen. Kirby, why focus on Washington, D.C., of all places? Why not Hollywood? Why D.C.?
Well, it's a good question. The reason I focused on Washington, D.C. is that this is a film about hypocrisy. It's about the hypocrisy of closeted gay politicians who vote anti-gay. And I felt it was very important because this was a story that hadn't been told. And I wanted to dive into it and really take a look at this.
Well, you said the hypocrisy, and if you look at the movie, and one of the clips says, I think it says you can't swing a dead cat in Washington without hitting a gay person.
A gay staffer.
Yeah, a gay staffer. Let's take a look at this, and then we'll talk about it.
Capitol Hill is packed with gay staffers. There are so many of them.
You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a gay staffer.
There's a running joke that actually the gay men make Capitol Hill run on time. They don't have like a wife or children to go home to, so they can work really long hours.
To this day, I have not seen any place like it. So it is probably like the most gay place. Unfortunately, it's probably still the most closeted place.
Is that true? I mean, per capita, are there more gays in Washington, or at least closeted gays in Washington, D.C.?
Well, actually, Washington, D.C., there's a lot of out gays. That's what's really interesting.
Yeah.
Certainly in Congress, the staffers, perhaps 30 to 40% of them are gay. So, I mean, this is something that, you know, I find very interesting.
Here's the thing, though. People don't like it usually. Many people don't. When people are outed. They find it intrusive. They find it rude. Why is that? Why out people? And what's been the response from doing that?
Well, the response to the film has been incredibly supportive and incredibly positive. The reason is my film doesn't out gay politicians. What my film does is report on hypocrisy. It reports on closeted gay politicians who vote anti-gay. And as a result of their votes, harm millions of Americans who are just like them. I think that's the job of any documentary filmmaker, any journalist, to report on hypocrisy.
Do you think that, before I ask you this, because there are people who you mentioned in the film, who you talk about in the film, who, people who are aware, people in the gay community have heard that this person is gay but no confirmation. You hear those rumors, then they get married and people laugh. Do you have evidence to back it up on some of these folks who you talk about in your film being gay?
Yes, I do. I mean, this film was made over a nearly 3-year period, and a lot of that, of course, was shooting, but a lot of that was also research. We had a team of researchers working over 3 years, and I'm 100% confident that everything in the film was 100% accurate.
Any hate mail?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not even from people who are supposedly in the book and are supposedly gay. They haven't contacted you. You're probably the last person they want to talk to.
Probably.
Anyway.
That's probably correct.
Do you think this film, I'm sure you probably hope it will help, but realistically, do you think it will help, or do you think that more people will be outraged by outrage, and you may tick some people off and make people go even further into the closet, or do more harm to the cause of gay rights than good?
No, I mean, I firmly believe that this will help the cause of gay rights. And I think one of the ways to do it is it reports on hypocrisy. And this is something that certainly people within Washington and within the political system know, but outside of Washington, it will come as a real surprise to them. But the reason the closet exists is because the media as a whole has not talked about it as much as they should. And what I hope is that in 20 years, the closet will no longer be a factor in American politics because people will start talking about it, and then politicians will realize that it isn't the best choice to live a dishonest life to themselves or to the public, that if they should come out and run as an openly gay politician, whether Democrat or Republican.
Kirby Dick, thank you.
Thank you.
Go now to a topic that we have been discussing, and it is a controversial one, and we want you guys to weigh in on it. We've been talking about a film. It's called Outrage. It is outing gay politicians and staffers in Washington, really not just in Washington, around the country. So joining us now are two openly gay men, Sirius XM radio host Michelangelo Signorile. He joins me live from New York tonight. Republican log cabin spokesman, log cabin Republican spokesperson Charles Moran. He is live in Los Angeles. One of you is on the left coast, one of you is on the right coast. Imagine that. Okay, Charles, is this movie true? You can't swing a dead cat in Washington without hitting a gay person?
That is an accurate assessment. There's definitely a lot of jokes made, and with all rumors, there is reasoning behind that. There are a lot of gays, some closeted, many open, who are working in the halls of Capitol Hill and the White House and the Supreme Court and all levels of the government. And I think that this movie definitely is going to be starting some conversations and shedding some light in an area that is usually kept in the dark. And I think the reason why so many people are looking at this issue and always pay attention to it, because it hits the issue of hypocrisy, as was stated before. But really, I think a lot of it is that Americans don't really do well with inauthenticity. And I think that's one of the problems that, people find when you've got bloggers such Mike Rogers, then obviously the creator of this film as well, who are trying to out people who are basically saying one thing and then acting another way. And I just want to get it on the record that Log Cabin Republicans does not support third-party outing, because we do believe it is an intensely personal process. And that is interesting. I'm sure Michelangelo Signorile would have something to say about that, Michael, because is this, to you, is it hypocritical that someone may be voting against gay rights legislation?
It is hypocrisy, and this word outing is a contrived media-created word. We're talking about reporting. We're talking about reporting on hypocrisy of public officials. Don, when CNN reports on the corruption of public officials, when they say something that's not true, when they vote a certain way, but they are really involved in something else, that is called reporting. And that's what this is. And being gay is no longer the most horrible, hideous, disgusting thing imaginable. I think, with so many people out, it's another fact of life. And politicians are hypocritical if they're voting against who they are.
What difference does it make what the politicians, whether a politician is gay or not? And I mean, why would the American electorate even care?
Well, the American electorate is made up a lot of people who certainly believe in civil rights, certainly believe that gays and lesbians deserve civil rights, and a lot of people who express a morality, especially in the Republican Party, about their own politicians, family values, that is all about heterosexuality. And it is important that America knows that some of the greatest promoters of that fraud of family values are gay.
Hey,
that needs to be known.
Charles, I'm going to let you get in here, but you are actually in the movie, Michael. You're in the movie, and do you do a review of it? What do you say in this movie?
I talk about the history of this kind of reporting, how it came about. I was at a magazine called Outweek magazine back in the early 90s, talking about how the media, and not just Washington, when we look at Hollywood as well, tells the truth about public figures and tries to get to the truth no matter what. When they're heterosexual, every detail, divorces, boyfriends, girlfriends. But if they're gay, they are expected to lie. That is a double standard. The media is not doing its job.
About who is named in this movie? Is that going to be a shock to anyone, or is it already people that most people say, I really don't care about it?
No, I think most people don't know. I think most people aren't going to have any idea about it until they see this movie.
Okay, I'm going to let you talk because Michelangelo Signorile kind of hogged the time there. Do you think that people will be surprised by who in this movie, and do you think that some politicians are running scared in the country now because of this?
I think a lot of it is ending up, being rumors here, rumors there, and that's a lot of what this is. It's chasing rumors, chasing details. And in politics today, politics are very much like the mass media or, Hollywood movie stars, where there's, entire magazines devoted to what new brand of clothes actor X is starting to wear, or what perfume, musician Y is promoting. What it really comes down to is gay and lesbian Americans are just like any other Americans, and just like anybody else who's in the public eye. And that's why I think that there's this much attention being paid to them. I really think that the main question here when we're asking this is, What kind of leadership example does this show to, younger people, the colleagues of these, closeted members of Congress or staffers? That's the real question.
That's going to have to be the last word. Charles Moran, Michelangelo Signorile.